independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Oregon in the United States. And I have a birthday card for you tonight using Dear Santa and Forever Forest. So we're going to combine those and make those a unique birthday card. So before we get started here, let's go see if I can find the chat and see who's on. Okay, so there is my live. No chat box. Let's go back and see if we can somehow get that up. And come on. Okay. Oh, there we go. Hi, Tracy. Thanks so much for joining. All right. So, good news. If you can hear me, go ahead, Tracy, and give me some sort of thing so I know that you can hear me okay. And then we're going to get started here pretty quickly. So I'm pretty tired and I'm going to go lay down for a while. All right, so we've got Dear Santa. We're going to be using this image here. And then we're going to be using the Forever Forest. This was bundled before. I don't think it's bundled now, but we're going to be using this particular image. And then we're going to be using a couple of dies from the Forever Forest dies for this. Okay, so we're going to start with a technique. And I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. And this is a mountain cut from the Forever Forest die. And this is what it looks like in the die. And you choose how deep you want your mountain to be. So this edge right here does not cut. So you lay it on your paper at whatever depth makes you happy. So we're going to go ahead and take this piece here and we're going to take some of the pearlized enamel effects and I want to put some, a dirt spot there I want to get out. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to take some of the pearlized enamel effects. And we're going to do this first so it has time to dry, and hopefully this will work. I do have one done with a gray mountain. If this doesn't work, or if it doesn't dry in time, what we're going to try this, and we're just going to put a little bit of the pearlized enamel effects on here. This comes in a pack of 3 and you get the pearl and a red and a black. So we're going to just go ahead and put this on like so. And I just want a real thin layer. I don't need a bunch. We're going to go back and fix this up. And I'm going to go clear to the edge on my mountains just because I don't want them to look like they don't have snow at the top. The ridges on this die actually stop just before the edge of the paper. Okay, so we'll take that. You don't have to be so precise on this. I'm just trying to stay inside the snow-capped mountain line. But if you go down below, it's really not a big deal. Whoops. Okay, we about dropped that. Okay, so just a little bit more in here. And here. Okay. All right, so now we're going to cap that up. And I'm going to take a paintbrush that I have in my stash, and I'm just going to go in with the tip of this paintbrush and dab that out and give it some texture. Make it look a little bit more like snow and a little bit less like we put that on there. So we're just going to dab it. And really, let's see, I want to dab this way so it looks like it's coming down the mountain. Okay. And we just keep doing that along here. And I really am just dabbing with the paintbrush tip. Some little up and down movements till I get enough of that. Okay, I'm going to add just a tiny bit more over here at the edge because I don't want that to look like the snow stopped. And then we'll dab that out. Okay. And what that's going to do is make that really look like it has sparkling mountains. Okay, so now this paintbrush will clean up quite nicely in just some water. This is apparently water soluble, but you want to clean it right away so that it doesn't harden on you. And now you can't even tell I put that in my paintbrush. Okay, so let's get that away so I don't accidentally spill it. And then we'll bring this up close to the camera and hopefully you'll be able to see what that looks like and the texture that's in that snow. Okay, so we'll just set that aside to dry. It shouldn't take all that long because it's not thick. It's pretty thin. I need to put it where I know I'm not going to touch it. Okay, so that was our first step on those. And now let's go ahead and get our stamping done. And I'm gonna set those aside. Let's get out our paper, which I just dropped one of them on the floor here. Let me reach down and pick that up real quick. All right. Hello, Cynthia. Thanks for coming and watching. Okay, let's see if there's anybody else on. Oh, Tracy, I'm glad you like that. Okay, so I just got a scrap piece of paper here. And I'm going to take my tree from Forever Forest. It's this tree right here. It's a single tree. And we're going to take some Mossy Meadow ink. And I'm going to ink that up in Mossy Meadow. And then I'm going to take my chamois. And I'm going to wipe off the trunk of the tree. Now you need to, if you're making this card, you need 3 of these. I've already done 2. Oh, there we go. And then I'm going to take the brush tip of my Stampin' Up Pecan Pie marker. And I'm going to color in a little bit of that trunk. Okay, and then I would color in my other ones, and then I'm going to run that off just to, if I have a little bit of green on it, then it'll come clean. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp this down. And now I've got a trunk on my tree. Okay, so you need to do that 3 times. And then we're going to take our little guy here, and we're going to take some Memento black and stamp that down. I'm going to give that a minute to dry before I start coloring. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up these stamps. I'm also going to grab an additional piece of scrap white, and I'm going to take the sentiment happy birthday, and I pulled the happy birthday sentiment from, oh, did I not get it out? I thought I had it out. Hang on just 1 minute. I'm pulling the happy birthday sentiment from Loveliest Tree. There is a happy birthday sentiment in the stamp set that I'm using for the inside, but it was not the right size and I didn't like it. So I went through my stash looking to see what I had that would fit. And Loveliest Tree had the happy birthday that I liked. Okay, so I just need to stamp that. Okay, and we'll go ahead. Excuse me, I gotta find my, I'm gonna get a pencil here. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this stamp because I just don't want that all over. I'm gonna fussy cut out my sentiment. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace around here with a pencil on how I want this to look. Just like so. And then I'll go in with my paper snips and I'll cut inside that pencil line. And that just gives me a guide to make my fussy cutting a little bit easier. And I still get the look that I want. Okay. Looks like I might need to actually clean my scissors with an alcohol swab. They're looking a little bit on the sticky side. Okay. So there's our sentiment. Now we'll go back. I like the white erasers. Just a Pentel high polymer eraser. And I'll erase any of those lines that I didn't cut off. And there is our sentiment all ready to go. Okay, let's go ahead and color this guy. So we're going to use some, these are our colors here. Let me get my, okay. And then we're going to use medium light SU 700 out of the natural tones for his skin. So let's just start there. And I'm going to leave a wide berth around his eyes. So, okay, and then it's going to have mittens on, so I don't need to worry about that. And then we're going to put just a touch of light petal pink in his mouth. Right there. Okay. His pants are going to be pecan pie. So we're going to put just a little bit of dark pecan pie on to shade that. We're following the artist lines there for the creases in the pants. Okay. And we'll put a little bit of dark on the cuff of the pant. And then we're going to go back with our light pecan pie and finish coloring that in. Okay. And for his skates, I want a light basic black and a dark smoky slate. I'm going to start with the light basic black. And I'm just going to put in a little bit of black where there would be a shadow around there. And then dark smoky slate will finish up. And by using it that way, I won't lose the details of the stamped image. Okay, so again, light basic black and dark smoky slate. And then we're going to color his jacket. Well, let's do the scarf first and his mittens. So we're going to put just a little bit of dark azure afternoon at the edge here and along his neckline. And then where the artist drew some lines there for shadows and where that scarf overlaps. I want this to, there we go. Just a little bit more and then fill that in. And blend those light and dark together. Okay. And then we're going to go to his hat. And again, we're going to put in a little bit of dark. And then we will fill that in with the light azure afternoon. Blend those colors together. All right, so there's his scarf and his hat. Then we're going to bring in Misty Moonlight for his jacket. And I'm going to make his pockets on the dark side. And then I'm going to fill in here where there would be some shadows and where the artist drew some lines. And I'm going to make his cuffs a little bit darker. And again, I'm going to go under that scarf. Okay. And along the edge of the scarf here. Oops, I just stuck that on my hand. Okay, so then we'll fill that in with the light Misty Moonlight. And blend those colors together. And then we'll finish up his hair. Okay. Now let's use a crumb cake. I'm going to start with the dark crumb cake along the edge here, and then I'm just going to swipe up here and there, and then we'll go back with the light crumb cake and finish that off. Okay, so there we are, and there's our little guy. Okay, hello Laura. All right, so there's no die for the little guy here, so we're gonna fussy cut him. There is a die for the tree, so that does not have to be fussy cut. Remember when you're fussy cutting to look to see where you want to finish, because you don't want to finish in a really delicate area. So I try to look for an easy finish, and I want to cut pretty close to the line here without cutting on the line, because I'm going to insert him right in my scenery and I want it to be kind of flawless. So I'm going to cut not on the line, but pretty darn close. Just leaving the barest amount here. If you don't feel comfortable cutting that close to the line, then go a little bit out. But I like the way it looks when you don't have a wide border and you're inserting it into a scene. So we're just gonna fussy cut this. I'm not keeping these little lines here. I'm just cutting those right off. We don't need them. Okay, so here we go. We're getting there, almost done. I just keep cutting off the excess. I don't want it to get in my way. I get a much smoother finish when I do that. And turn my paper with my left hand. Open and close the scissors with my right. Okay, I've got a little, there we go. Okay, so there's our little guy. I'm ready to go. And let's see, I think I already have 3 trees cut, so we don't have to do that. Do the magic of television. There's our 3 trees. Excuse me. We've got an azure afternoon card base. So we've got our trees and our birthday. And then I've taken from the Bright Skies set of dies. I took this piece. Let me show you that die. That's this big die right here. This is a really good die set to have. It has a lot of, it's got clouds and raindrops, and you can cut tulips and all kinds of little things. So it's a really good wingman stamp set. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to bring in the So Swirly embossing folder, but we are not going to emboss with this. Dry emboss anyway. We're going to take our white piece here and we're going to do direct ink to the embossing folder, and I'm going to very lightly ink this up. Okay, and what I should have done first, I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off. That pad is exceptionally inky. So if you find that, you'll want to take your bone folder, spoon, something, and push that ink back down into the pad so it's not quite so juicy. And then you'll get a much better result. So let's try that again, and we're just going to lightly put some ink on there. Okay, I don't need to ink the whole folder. I just need enough for my piece here. So we're going to take that and we're just going to lightly press it. Okay. And then we're going to lift that up. And that's just going to give us some, the look of ice on our water without adding a bunch of indents, which I did not want. When I started this card, I started with ink, actually embossing, and then I didn't like the way it looked because it didn't make sense. Where did I put my little guy I just colored? Oh, there he is. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put him here, and if I had all those divots, then he wouldn't be able to skate. Okay, so we've got that. Now, where is my white? Oh, I didn't grab my white 4 by 5¼ inch piece. Let me grab that real quick. I thought I had that, but apparently I don't. So I'm going to cut this at 5¼ and then we'll cut this at 4. All right. Now we have our base layer ready to go, and we need to do a little bit of ink blending on this. So let's put a little bit of, do I want, no, I don't want pool party. Oops, I don't want pool party. I'll just wipe that off. And we'll do Azure Afternoon. That's really what I want. Okay, and then we're going to take this and we're going to just put some wispy little circular, I don't want a bunch, I just want it to look like there's a little bit of sky in the background. And I think that'll be far enough down. Don't need to worry about the bottom. Okay, we'll wipe that off. All right. And then we're going to take a piece of basic white, and this strip is, what is this? About 2½ inches. And the width, it just needs to be wider than the cardstock here, or just as wide. And I'm just going to take and tear this. I just want a little bit of texture in the background here. Okay, so we've got that. Before we go any further with this, we're going to take some Wink of Stella. And I'm going to grab that silicone mat, a different silicone mat. And I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and I'm going to run along that torn edge just to put some sparkle so that it looks like the snow is sparkling in the background. Okay, so we've got that. All right, now let's check and see if we're dry enough over here. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, so we've got all of our pieces now, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our mountains and we're going to stick these up here, kind of like this, but we need to leave enough room for a happy birthday here. This is going to go up here. And we're going to put our mountains, and then we're going to put our snowbank. Okay, that looks good. Okay, we'll bring our mountains down just a bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and secure this piece before I secure this piece. So I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal. And I will just line this up top, bottom, on the bottom and the side. Okay, bring that over like that. That looks pretty good. And then we'll trim this off. Okay, might need to put a little bit more glue under here. So let's just take, lose our happy birthday there. Oh, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. I have to stick this under first. Whew. I'm glad I remembered that. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in. I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal along the bottom there. And then I'm going to add some liquid glue along the bottom here. Okay, so Stampin' Seal on the back, liquid glue on the front. And then we're going to slide this right in here, like so. And line that up. Okay. And then we'll trim off that excess. Okay, so we've got that. So this is what we have thus far. And then we're going to add our skating rink. And we're going to choose how we want that to look, kind of. Here. Go in here, and we're going to put a tree over here. I'll move this up a bit. I don't think I like those. Let's see. There, let's do it like this, just like that. Okay, and we're going to put a tree here, and I'm going to stick some trees back here. So what I want to do is I want to stick these trees in first. And let's put this one about, well, that one will be fine. I got to stick this one in first, though. Let's get that in there. Okay, so we've got that. About like that. Okay. Now I can add this. And so what I'm going to do here, take a look at that. I'm going to run some Stampin' Seal right here and here. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue right here on the back. And then we'll put this on kind of like that. Okay, and again, I'm going to trim that off. I like to trim it as I go so that I don't have so many layers to try and get through. I find it easier to trim my layers as I go. Oh, thanks, Tracy. Those Bright Skies dies are really neat. You can do so much with those. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to take our little guy here and we're going to pop him up. So he looks like he's having a ton of fun here. And I'm going to grab some mini dimensionals because this is going to go, well, maybe it won't go through the mail, but I want to make sure everything's nice and supported. Okay, let's get that off of there so I can see. There we go. If I put it on the blue, then I can see that I'm not going outside of the lines on the skate. Okay, there we go. All right. And can we fit one on the arm? Ooh. Yep, barely. And here. Okay, and then we should be good. I think I need to take a get some glue on here. Sorry, I had to get that off. Everything must stick into it. That chamois just takes that right off of there, no problem. I love the glass mat. And this Glass Mat Studio is available in the online store under online exclusives. Or I believe it still is. Uh-oh, I just lost a piece. Darn it. Oh, there's my tree. Whew. Okay, so let's put him about right there. And then we'll add our last two trees. So we're going to put this tree here like so. I'll lift that up just a touch, I think. I want this one to be a little bit lower. Oh, no, I don't. I want this one to be higher, actually. There we go. Let's get him up there. Okay. And then again, we're going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals. And we're going to pop this tree up. And I'm going to take just a tiny little edge here. Just a little piece of that edge. Hope I didn't cut that too wide for my trunk. Nope. Okay. And then we'll remove these backings. Except that little one doesn't want to be removed. Okay, and then we'll put this down here like so in the snow. Okay, like that. And add our happy birthday. And again, I'm going to pop that up. And we're going to need a couple of minis. Now, if you don't have minis, you could cut your larger ones in half, maybe a little smaller. There we go. And those are off. And we'll place this up here like so. Okay. All right. And then we just need to add this to our card base, which is not scored correctly. Let me try that again. Oh my goodness. I did a whole card base that way. I did a whole sheet of cardstock in the wrong, at the wrong dimensions, you guys. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. So I'll score it in the center at 4 1/4. 4 1/4. All right. And then we'll cut it at 5 1/2. And then I have 2 card bases ready to go. Hopefully correct this time. Okay, we'll put that aside for another use. I'm going to bring this back out. Stick this in the corner here. Push everything up solid in those corners. And give that a good full fold. Okay. And now we have a perfectly folded card. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add this to our card front. And I'm going to do that with some liquid glue. Actually, yeah, I've got enough layers here. It won't matter. Let's put just a thin line there, and then this has enough. I don't need to worry about it. There's enough layers. Okay. I don't normally like to use liquid glue on the basic white for a card base because it can ripple if you get it too thick. And after you went through all that work, you don't want it to ripple. Okay, so there we have our card front. Now, it felt like it needed something. So I'm taking the new Riverside Irregular Pearls. These came out in the online exclusives in November. And I wanted them to look like some river rock here. So I'm going to take some of these green ones. And we're going to put them so it looks like they're kind of around the edge of our pond here. And there we have it. I hope you like that. This little guy reminds me of my grandson Caleb when we took him to skate for the first time. He had a blast and loved the skating, but he did a lot of falling. Okay, so for the inside of my card, I do have one, don't I? What did I do with my, I know I've got the envelope here. What did I do with the inside? Oh, here it is. I took from Unbounded Love, May All Your Wishes Come True. Now, this is the happy birthday that's in that stamp set, but as you can see, this happy birthday is quite a bit bigger and didn't fit my card, so that's why I pulled in the loveliest tree. Okay, so may all your wishes come true, and again, I stamped that tree in the mossy meadow with the pecan pie trunk. We're going to add this to the inside of our card. And there you have it. From Dear Santa, a really cute birthday card for a guy. Or actually, that could be a girl. Who knows? If you just colored that in pink or their favorite color. Oh, thanks, everybody. I'm glad you like that. I will be back next Tuesday on Facebook with a live. I will not be live on Thanksgiving uh, here on YouTube. So don't plan on that, but I will be back on Facebook Tuesday night with a card tutorial or treat boxes. And I will see you then. Everybody have a great weekend and take care. Good night. Thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to like and share if you liked the video.